Okay, so let's continue our discussion. We were talking about writing our first code in Android. So we said that whenever you initialize your first project, what you have is this interface.
Change the API.
Where-
The
uh,
10 or 19.
Yes. So you have this interface where you draw and drag and drop different buttons, and the Android uh, the Android framework will create the tree of views for you, and that tree is stored in the variable path. That's what we discussed last time. Now, corresponding to this interface, we know that this interface is executed by a thread called the activity thread. So, when you have this UI, the corresponding activity thread is so this code is also automatically generated. Now, as I had mentioned in the last class, that this activity thread is basically corresponding to this thread you have a base class. The base class is this one, action bar activity. Now, what is the name? Uh, the name that is chosen, action bar activity, that changes based on the version of Android Studio or the API of the phone that you use. Basically, when Android was first introduced, this was just for activity. Now, with newer versions of Android, newer versions of Android Studio, newer APIs, this name started changing. Now, why this name changes? It's because when you first create an application, you can choose between different types of initial activity frames. So they are these are the default activities that are given as choice to you. So based on what activity you choose, that name will be. So it is nothing but some different default activities that might have some newer components in them, right? So action bar activity is the default one that Android uses. There are many things here, but we'll focus on some important functions. The first function is on create. Right? That is so. When you go over and try to understand this code, you will see that there are certain functions and which are overridden. So this function on create, you have to override this function. So only look at those functions that have override on top of them. So these are all default functions that are present in this activity base class, and you have to implement. You have to implement these functions. So on create is one of the functions. On create options menu, on option I will selected, then on start, on stop. These are all functions that are overridden. So this means that these are default functions that you have to implement. Now, these functions correspond to states of the activity thread. So, do you know that threads have states? Right? If you go into operating systems, then you see that there are four basic steps or four basic states of a thread. The four basic states are: first one is the ready state, second is the run state, third is the wait state, and fourth is the exit state. So ready state means it is waiting for getting CPU cycle. That is the first state of the thread. Run state means the thread is running, it is getting CPU cycle, so it is executing. Wait state means the thread was stopped by the CPU because it wanted to do some input output. So it is waiting for some input from the keyboard or from the mouse and so on. And then exit state means the thread is done, it is cleaning up the memory. So these are four basic states. Now, activity threads have more states, many more states. OnCreate is one of the states of activity. So OnCreate is the first state of activity thread where you are attempting to render the first screen on the software application. So whatever components you have dragged and dropped, you want to render them. So that is the OnCreate function. So in the OnCreate state, you can access all the view elements and you can make changes to them. Or you can write event listeners for those components. So whenever these components are first shown to a user, whatever you write inside will get executed. So you click the icon, the first screen comes up, it goes to the OnCreate state. Then there are some other states. All these override functions are states. OnCreate option menu, options menu, on option item selected, and so on. But some of the important states are on start, on stop, and that's it. So on start, on stop. So after OnCreate, when the OnCreate function is done, the thread moves on to on start state. Then when the on start state is done, it goes to on stop state and so on. So the execution of a thread, when it goes from one state to the other and so on, that process is called the life cycle. Life cycle of the thread, activity thread in this case. So we'll talk about the life cycle a little bit later. But let's first understand the first code. So all these override functions are part of the life cycle of the thread. It will go from OnCreate, it will pass through onStart, then it will go to ready, run, wait, exit, and finally will go to onStop and get out. Right? So these are part of a life cycle of the activity thread. We'll talk about that in some detail later. Now let's focus on the OnCreate. The OnCreate function. So in the OnCreate function, basically you want to show or render whatever UI you have made using the drop-down menu. Right? So whatever UI you have made, you have to show. So where is the UI? Which variable has the UI element? The R variable. So what you see at the first line of code? Set content view r.layout.pattern name. Right? Now in this R, you can have many different layouts. So all these layouts are screens, different screens. Right? So if you see fragment is one layout. So fragment when is one layer. So that is the one first screen. And then content when two directional is another screen. So however many screens you have, that many activity threads you will have. So everything is there in R. So one variable R, we have multiple screens. Right? Now, with respect to each of these screens, there are activity threads. So if you go to main 2 activity, this is the second screen, and it has the same. It uses a different activity, different default activity, but it's the same base class. Basically, add compact activity and action bar activity is kind of has the same base class, just a different modification. Some extra components, but it extends the same activity base class. Right? So this is another activity thread. This is another activity thread. So both are activity threads under the same parameter R. Right? Now, so that is the first thing that is being done in OnClick. So you set the content view. So you say that the first activity thread will view whatever items are there in item main direction. So these are all the items. Now the next thing what you are doing is you are trying to define, or not you, we are trying to define what happens when you click the button. So first of all, what you have to do is you have to get some handler to that button. So the first line of code does that. Gets a handler to that button. Now how do you get the handler to that button? You have to find the view which corresponds to that button, right? So how do you do that? You search the tree. There are many different ways to search the tree. Depth first search, breadth first search. So find view by ID does that one. You don't have to write an algorithm for searching the tree. So what you do is you pass the ID of that particular view which you want to find. So remember when we talked about this XML here, and we saw that there was an ID, and this ID is unique to every component. Right? If you have another button, you cannot name it the same thing. You have to name it different, button 2 or something like that. So this ID is unique to every component that is there inside. Each component has a separate ID. So you find that by ID. Now this find view by ID, this returns a view. So it's an abstract class. It's a view. You don't know whether it's button or a text view, you don't know. And the find view by ID doesn't know. You know. You know it's a button. So what you do is you have to cast it using C language, right? Or rather you have to convert this into from this abstract view class into button class. Right? So that's what the first line does. Now, the moment you do that, you have a lot of different options specific for one. Right? So let's see what are the different options. And this is why Android is easy. You do this BTN1 and you got everything. You don't have to learn, you don't have to guess, you just scroll. Right? So how are different? So there are different event listeners. So what all can you do with the button? You can click it, you can press it, you can hover around it. So set on click listener is a listener for clicking. Then on focus change listener, on key listener, on long click listener, on touch. All these kind of things you can do. Like these are the different actions that you can do with the button. So here what I have done is here we have used the on click listener. So what it does is that it uses the general or the abstract class on click listener. What is this on click listener? Basically, it connects to the touch sensor and it frequently samples the touch sensor. Frequently samples the touch sensor. This on-click listener is a abstract class which is a function of that abstract class view. Right? It's a function of that abstract class view. So now again you have to use that on-click listener and make it the on-click listener for the button. So that's why that kind of code does that. So it takes btn1.set on-click listener, it declares a new class or new object of that view, and then it takes that function view.onClick listener and connects it to the button one's on-click listener. So that is what this is doing. And the moment you do that, there are some default functions that you have to implement. So the override keyword that shows that these are the different functions that you have to implement. Right. This code is modified. Okay, forget about these things. Don't do that. And we cannot avoid it. Oh yeah, let's look at this. This is the same thing. So on-click listener, right? So you come here and this on-click function you have to override. So whatever you write inside this on-click function will get executed whenever you click the button. So in this case, what you need to do is you need to switch to a different screen. Right? You need to switch to a different screen. We'll come to this a little later. How can we do that? How can we instantiate? We'll come to this a little later. So whatever you write here, some computation, some message, right? It will come out. It will be executed whenever it is. So that is the first thing. Now the thing is, how do you start another thread from this main activity thread? So in order to start any thread, what you need to do is use the class called intent. So intent means you are letting the operating system know that you want to create another thread. So using that intent class, you can specify the parameters of the thread. What is the parameter of a thread? Parameter means what code should it execute. What code should it execute and which thread should start this new thread. So you're creating a new thread. From which thread should it fork? And once it forks, what code should it execute? These two things we have to specify. So then intent, first string equals new intent, and there are two parameters, right? So that line of code says that you are trying to let the operating system know that you want to start a thread. So you are setting the parameters of the thread. So that line, intent first string, that line sets the parameters of the thread. So now I have said there are two parameters. First of all, from which thread are you forking? And second, what code should it run? So which thread are you forking? That's the main two activities of this. So that is also called the context. The context of the application. So it's the context parameter. And what code you are executing? That you say that which class has that code. So main activity dot class has that code. So if you go to this main activity Java, this is the first string. Right? So you come back to the first string. So once you have set the parameters of the thread, then what you do is you know that this is an activity thread. So there is a function called start activity that you can use to let the operating system know that it will start or fork a thread using those specifications. So what you do is you use the start activity function and pass the intent as an argument to that function. it will start the next thing. So this same code you can have in the main activity.java to go to the next script. Right. Now what we have done is we have updated the main activity.java to show an example of service, right, which will come to next. So if you use that code, then you can switch from one stream to the other and back. John, do you have that code installed in something in your phone?
No.
Okay, so this code is already uploaded, right?
Yes.
So you can go and you can play it. You can download it in your phone and you can see how it works. We can show you a demo maybe tomorrow. You can do that. So that is your first Android phone. So do you have any questions? It's similar to Java. How is Java? So here is the question that how is garbage collection done? Right? It's very interesting factor, garbage collection. We'll come to that much later when we are discussing power and energy. When we answer the question. So garbage collection is good and bad. Now we are going a little bit off topic, but we'll come to that a little later as well. But it is very interesting, the point that we picked up. So garbage collection is good because if a thread ends, goes to an exit state, it might have used some memory, which might be locked by that thread. So when a thread ends, it has to free up those memory, so that some other thread can use it. Now, often what happens is that when threads exit, they don't do garbage collection. Because if you do garbage collection at every thread, then there are thousands of threads. Right? You end up spending time doing garbage collection 1,000 times in 10 seconds. So that's a lot of time wasted just doing garbage collection. So often what the operating system does is that it does garbage collection periodically. Right? So your threads end, and let's say every 30 seconds you are doing garbage collection. And within that 30 seconds, let's say 20 threads ended, but they didn't do their own garbage collections. Right? So what now happens is that you invoke the garbage collection every 30 seconds, and that one garbage collector collects or frees up or reuses the memory for the 20 threads that ended in the 30 seconds. That's how garbage collection occurs every 30 seconds or periodically. Ideally, you should do garbage collection after every thread ends, but that will take a lot of time. Now we will come to an interesting factor with respect to garbage collection a little later. What was your question?
Yeah, I was just wondering, is the intent class a class that control the graph? Is it graph?
So it is configuring a thread. You're configuring the thread. You're letting it know from which context you're forking and what is the code for that particular thread. And what code should it run? Then the start activity function that actually tells the operating system to start the thread. Now there's an important question, and it's an operating system question. That when you do this function, start activity, what happens? Does the thread immediately start? Yeah. It goes in the ready queue, right? So every operating system has 4 queues, at least 4 queues. At least 4 queues. Each queue is corresponding to the states of the thread. So you have the ready state, run state, wait state, and exit state, right? So there is a queue for ready state, there is a queue for run state, wait state, and exit state. So whenever you execute the start activity function, the thread is not immediately. What happens is that you declare a thread with those specifications, and you put the thread somewhere in the ready, maybe at the end of the ready. A CPU scheduler goes through the ready queue one by one, first in, first out. If your thread is at the top of the queue, then it will get executed. If not, you have to wait. How long you wait, you don't know. You don't know how long. It's totally random. So you don't exactly know that if I do start activity, at what time my thread starts. You don't know. So do you have any other questions with regards to our first Android code? Okay. So if there are no questions, then let's go to another concept called services. So we talked about activities. Let's talk about services. So we know activities were threads that have a UI component. So which means a user will interact with it. And we know that services, we talked about that in the last class. Services do some background tasks, right? Now why do we have two different types of threads? Why do we have activities and services as separate? Why don't we just have one type of thread, just the activity thread, which does everything? It has the UI component. It also you can still also use activity tasks to do background service. Why don't we have that? Why? What was the need for having two different types of threads? Yes.
Activity
Come in.
activity means user input.
Yes.
Activity starting but something starts.
So what was the problem if we just use whatever we wanted to write in services, we just write in activity thread. We just ignore the user. What will be the problem? No, if you just write whatever you wanted to write in service, just write it in activity. That will also be a modular. Just have two different activity threads. Why do you need services? Why?
The user will not be, he might not be considered every activity that is taking place in the background.
But activity.
And it's a,
Oh. So why do you need services? What was the basic reason that you needed services? What are some examples of services? Background service. What are some examples? Okay. Location, finding out location. Right. That is one. What is some other example of service? What? Sensor sampling of the sensor. Another example. Network download. Let's use 5% download. So what is the characteristic of a code that is written in a service thread? The characteristic is that it is computationally expensive. It takes time. So these are functions that take time, and you write them in service. Now what happens when you ignore the service thread? Let's say you don't use the service thread, but just write whatever you wanted to write in services. Just write in activity thread. What will happen? So let's say you want to do network download, right? You want to do some file you want to download, huge file, and you have an activity. There is a button in in that activity. You clicked, you went to the on-click listener, and there was a function, on-click function, and there you wrote a huge function, which took 20 seconds. 20 seconds to download a file. How will your, or what will your code look like? Not code, what will your app look like? The UI will freeze. Right? So you are touching your phone, nothing is happening. You get frustrated. Will you use that kind of an application where you just press one button and it keeps on downloading, nothing happens? So you cannot really write long functions and things that take long time, tasks that take long time. You cannot use activity thread to do that. That's bad user experience. So you see, that is the fundamental difference between how you write code in a laptop versus how you write code in a mobile application. In a laptop, you don't care about activity service. Everything is the same thread, it's a thread. Right? But in this case, in mobile applications, you have to make a distinction. In activity threads, you cannot write long functions. If you write long functions, then that's poor user experience, and the app will become unresponsive. Right? So that is the fundamental reason you have services and activities. Two types of threads. The activities are user interaction threads, and services are background services. Services are background threads. They have no UI component. They are strictly not allowed to interact with the user. It's strictly not allowed. And there has to be a proper methodology for a user to interact with the service. So that is the fundamental difference between services and activities. Now, with respect to code, it's very simple. How do you write service code? It's very simple. So let's go to that example. So here, this is an example of services. Right? This is an example of services that we have. Ignore whatever is here. Service connection, ignore this. Up to find service. Right? So let's look at this. So what you want to do is you want to start a new service, background service. Right? You want to start a new background service. The code is exactly same as starting a new activity. No difference. You have an intent and it's a new intent. That is the context in activities of this. From here you are 40, right? And where is the code for that service? It's in the service.class. You have that code, and instead of using start activity, you just use start service. That is the function that you use. When I'm saying that service thread goes to the ready queue and it gets executed whenever the CPU scheduler gets to it. Now let's see what is the service code. Again, it's very simple. Service code, you know that everything has a base class in Android. Like every function has an app. There is an app for it. You can say there is a base class for it. Whatever you are writing Android. So whatever you want to do, you will find a base class. So here the base class is service. Service base class. And you see again there are some override functions. So these are states corresponding to that service thread. A service thread is very different to an activity thread. It has very different states. So in this case, it does not have the on-start, on-stop state, but it has the on-create. On-create is kind of that state which is there in every class. Right? So it has the on-create state, it does not have the on-start, on-stop state. So whenever you go to on-create, you do something. Right? In this case, you are sending message to main activity. So again, here ignore this part. Ignore this part. Just look at this one. Right? So in onCreate, you do send message to activity, and what does it do? Send message to activity. It just prints something on the screen. Right? So that is our background task, just printing something on the screen. That is our background task. In this case, it doesn't take much time, but you could write longer functions. So that is a simple example of how to instantiate services. Any doubts on this one? Now, there are four types of background services. Actually, not four. Based on different criteria, you can divide services into two groups. So, first group is bounded and unbounded. Bounded services and unbounded services. Right. So bounded and unbounded services are what? So you'll find that I don't know whether you have had that experience or not. Let's say you are using a browser, right? The Chrome browser, and you went into or let's say your email, Gmail, right? So there is an application in your phone that you can just click that icon and Gmail opens, right? And let's say you have a long attachment in some mail, 10 MB attachment. Now you click on that attachment, and it's taking a long time to download. You got impatient, you deleted the Gmail application. Not that you did not delete, you just removed the activity, right? So you just remove the activity thread. But that attachment keeps on downloading. Right? So that download service or the download operation is done on a service thread. Right? Now, even if you delete that activity that generated that thread, the activity is what? The UI of Gmail. Right? So you have that UI of Gmail was the UI that created that service thread, which was downloading the file. Right? But you now deleted that UI. Even if you deleted that, even if you delete that UI, that background service still continues. It does not stop. Right? It continues till if the file is totally downloaded and it's stored somewhere. That type of service, which starts and works independently of the activity that generated it, is called an unbounded service. Right? So this is a service where that main activity created that service, but you deleted the main activity, but the service still executes. That's an unbounded service. So let's write it down. And bounded service is what? If you delete the main activity that created that service also goes. That is bounded service. So service execute service is dependent on the activity that created. Now, the way the code that I showed you, that is the start activity. This start service, this is a way of creating unbounded services. So even if you delete the main activity, the service will still come. Now, creating bounded service is a little difficult. Why? Why do you think creating bounded services is difficult?
Like single code cannot match.
But you don't need to match them. But you're close. So basically, bounded means what? Means that there has to be some association with the activity. So two threads should communicate. How do two threads communicate? Okay. IPC, yes, inter-process communication. One of the ways of doing it is message passing interface, MPI. How many of you are familiar with MPI? Message passing interface. How many of you have done some programming, multi-threaded programming? So did you pass data through between threads, or you just had global data that both the threads share? But they share data, right? Okay. So MPI, nobody has. At least how many of you have heard about message passing interface? Okay. So how does message passing interface work? So it is a way of sharing data between threads or communicating between two threads. Now there are many ways of communication between threads. The fundamental definition of thread assumes what? That they share global data. Fundamental assumption. If there is some global data, then two threads will share. That is the fundamental definition of thread. That is one way of communicating. That's why you have race conditions and so read-write conflicts and so on. Right? So that is one way of communicating, that you have some global data that is common to two threads. That is one way of communicating. The other way of communicating is you can pass local data from one thread to the other. Now how can you pass it? Is you have to establish a connection between two threads. And this connection is similar to establishing network connection, IP address and so on. Right? Similar. So what is the similarity? You develop sockets. So two threads, there are two threads, you have two sockets at the two threads, and then you establish a connection between these two sockets. Basically what happens? You have a token passing algorithm. So there is a line, socket means what? You are establishing a line, and in that line there is one token. So one thread will take that token, whoever is first will take that token, modify it, send some message, and put that token into the queue. The other thread will take that token and read the message. That is basically the message passing. So similarly, when you have a bounded service, you have to establish this connection between the activity that generated this thread, the service thread, and the service thread itself. They have to make a connection. How do you make a connection? Same socket. So this part of the code which I have commented out, let's uncomment this now. And let's comment out this start service. So this part of the code basically creates that connection between the activity thread and the service thread, the bounded service thread. So this is establishing a socket connection. So what happens is that since this is Android, this is very simple. So again, you have a base class for socket connection. So what is the base class? Is that service connection class. So you declare an object served of that service connection class. It has two functions: on service connected, on service disconnected, right? And you can write whatever you want there. Here I have chosen not to write anything because I am showing a default example that you could potentially update some variables, do some operations or so on, right? And then what you do is you take that connection, so that is a socket established between this main activity and the service. Then you use the function bind service. So in this bind service, there are different parameters. The first parameter is the intent. Intent specifies what is this service, so from which thread you are working, and what is the code of that service. So that's the first argument of bind service, the intent. The second argument is the socket connection, the server socket connection, right? And the third argument is you are telling the operating system that this is a bounded service. Context does bind authority. So you are telling the operating system to create this socket, initialize it, and bind this service that is created newly to this activity. So using that bind service function, you are creating a service that is bound to this activity. So whenever you delete this activity, the service will also get deleted. Right? Now if you go back to that service code, if you go back to service code and then let's say we comment this out and uncomment this. Right? Now the moment this is a bound service, instead of going to onCreate, you will go to onBind. That was the first state of this service. So you go to onBind and you have to write your function in onBind, whatever function this thread is going to do. Right? Now you notice that in onBind you have an argument. The argument is this intent. Right? Through this intent you can pass parameters from the activity thread to this service thread. You can pass parameters. You can pass values of local variables of main activity to the service thread. How to do that, maybe we'll see in the next class. But you can do that. Right? So that is the fundamental difference between bind and unbind. Bound and unbounded service. That is one distinction. So whether the service is bound or unbound is one parameter through which you can classify services into two classes. There is another parameter. The stickiness of the service. Sticky or non-sticky services. That is a separate level of classification of services. So based on that, you can classify services into two parts: sticky services, non-sticky services. That concept is far more simpler than this one. That concept is whenever, so let's say you have a sticky service versus non-sticky service. So if you have a sticky service, then what happens is that if you stop that service and restart it, it maintains the state. So let's say you are executing, let's say this is the function that you are doing, you implemented I became 1, you printed I equals 1, I became 2, 3, 4, 5. When I became 5, you deleted the service. If you restart the service, you start from I equals 5. So that is sticky. And non-sticky means you restart from the beginning. So you start from I equals 0. So that is another level of distinction between services. So now, given these two concepts, these are sufficient for your first assignment. So first assignment is what? Is basically a UI assignment. Did you upload the first assignment? So we will upload it today. By the way, group formation due date is when? You have to form your groups. Oh, by today. So you have to form your group by today. Right? So today we'll upload the assignment, then your assignment will be due on the 5th of June. Right? So did you create an interface for this information? Did you create an interface so that they can enroll?
Oh yes.
You did? Okay. So we go to Blackboard, right? Go to Blackboard and form your groups. Today is the last day. So let me give you a brief introduction about the assignment. So what you have to do is you have to create a UI interface, and this UI interface is for a health informatics application. So health informatics application means you will have some patient information, age, gender, name, maybe names you can do anonymization, but let's say you have that information as well. Then what you do is you collect some data from that patient, maybe use some sensors, we will do that in the next assignment, but for now, some random data is there for that person, and you have two buttons, run and stop. If you hit the run button, then the corresponding data of that person will be grabbed. So you have a graph, you just plot that data. And then if you hit the stop button, the graph should clear out, so nothing to display. And if you hit the run button again that graph, either the same or a different, your choice, does not matter. That same graph or a different graph will be plotted. So that's the simple assignment, that's the first assignment. It's basically UI assignment, so you won't be needing services that much. You can choose to use services, but I don't know what you will use it for. Maybe you can use it for displaying that graph. Right? Basically, you have to write several activity threads. Right? So that is your first assignment. Then what we'll do is we'll extend that assignment in assignment 2 and 3. So from that assignment, we'll then go to an assignment 2 which uses sensors, the accelerometer, gyroscope, orientation sensor, to collect sense data. So whenever you hit run, instead of just plotting a random graph, you will collect sense data from all these sensors. You will create a database, store the data in the database, and then take the most recent 10-second value from the database, plot it on the graph. That is the second assignment. The third assignment will involve components of machine learning, where whatever data you have collected, using that data, you detect some gestures. So if that person was running, you detect that it's running. If the person was walking, you detect that the person was walking. Right? So that is the third assignment. So that's how we build on top of this assignment 1. So I think what you do is, we have uploaded this code already. So you go to the content folder, you will find out of this code, right? Android code. You have uploaded everything. That's all. So you take the activity code, you will try to run it in your system. So first of all, I didn't go through the logistics, right, of how to install Android Studio and so on. I do not have any intentions to go through it also. So what you do is you just search Android Studio. There should be a package installer. Just install it in your laptop. If you have problems, come to my office hours. You can discuss what problems you have. Right? But do that first. Then what you do is download this code, create a new project with this code, try to run it. That should be your first step. Right? And see whether it runs. Then I hope everybody has Android phones or no. If you don't have Android phones, you can come to the lab, borrow an Android phone. Right? Borrow an Android phone. But the thing is, we cannot let you take it. So you have to work in the lab. So whatever assignments you do, if you don't have an Android phone, you can borrow the phone, but just stay in the lab and work on it. Right? So one of the alternative is you have in Android Studio you have an emulator. But in the emulator you can only emulate UI components. You cannot emulate sensor data, machine learning algorithms, and so on. Right? So for the first assignment, it should be fine. You can do it in an emulator. But for the subsequent assignments, you might have to use a real phone. Right? So for the first assignment, I'm hoping that you won't need a phone. But for the second and third, you will. So if you need a phone, just come to the lab, download your code in a phone and test it out. Right? Then you can do. But so we'll upload the assignment today, form the groups, the deadline is today. Everybody knew that the deadline was today. What? Yes or no? Okay, so then the deadline stays today. Right? So you form the groups and start working on that one. Now what we'll do is from tomorrow, we'll start demonstrating the projects. There will be 9 or 10 projects options, or maybe more, depending upon what we think. The 11 project options, we'll demo those project options, and you can choose from one of them. I think we'll stop here today. Because there are only 3 minutes left and we can't start the talk. So we have this survey. Did everybody submit their survey results? Right, we'll see. If even if one person says no, I cannot do that. So everybody has to. I will see the results when I go to the lab. Okay.